Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my own custom mini that I made for a recent D&D campaign that a mate started. I got too excited. It's my first campaign and I ended up wanting to just make my character, so I did. Here's the little mini. I'll try and get a big close-up of him to pop up on the screen at some point. We'll see how my editing goes. But yeah, so I'll just start showing it off in ZBrush. So here he is. He's called Kalen. He's a Triton. And yeah, I made him from scratch. Was on Pinterest a bunch to like try and figure out what a trident looks like. Turns out there's not a lot online that really shows what a triton is. Apparently, I'm doing some research on it. On the D&D books really only have this single image of a triton, and so a lot of people have like taken a bit from like Magic the Gathering, I think it was, and some other tabletop games. But yeah, that's a little side tangent. So here he is. Really happy with how he turned out. I'm actually really proud of him. I think he looks really cool, and I really like what I ended up doing with his coloring in here. So just very happy with the aesthetic. Facial expression is a bit but this was like the first time like really deep diving in. I ended up learning a lot from this sculpt, and I had done a lot of things that I don't usually do. But yeah, here he is. He's got his little fins, tiny gills that probably don't do anything because they don't go in at all. His little elf-like ears, because I think in the lore they are basically like may have started as elves. I may have forgotten, but yeah. So going into it, sculpting process was really fun. I started with a base mesh this time, so I didn't really need to worry about having the proper proportions and stuff because it was already in a good spot. I was just about building the secondary forms and detail, and I think they call them territory forms as well, for like the skin details. I'm sure someone can correct me on that one. But yeah, so it was very fun, and then getting into posing later was pretty cool. So I had done, I don't think the layers are here still. Yeah, I've already baked it in. But for the posing, I found something online called, I think it was character, this one, ZBrush Pose Tools. It's character creator pose tools. Makes it really easy. It basically uses the layer functions in ZBrush to just store different poses you can do, and it does that across all your subtools. So like all this, yeah, it's still separated in this file, but it's all separated, and then it names it all the same, and you can just have a bunch, like this list here is just all the layers you can have, and then you can record new poses and name them whatever, and then later you can like come back to edit. So this ended up being really helpful for when I was posing him and trying to work out what I wanted. Yeah, so a nice fun thing I learned on this one is like a cleaner way to get the scales in, which I'm really happy with, but in the final print you just don't see. They're too fine, so I think that's a learning I'll talk about later. But yeah, it was, instead of doing the alpha on the brush directly and then just painting it on where you pretty much have like consistent height and pressure, I saw, I think it was Pablo Monez or something. He's one of the big ZBrush creators, but he recommended putting the alpha on the mask, and then you can come over with a brush and choose the intensity at different spots. So like in the armpit, which is a bit jank at the moment, it's really soft along the edges, but then you have like these bigger forms that obviously a bit jank too. But yeah, so really happy with how that came out, and then could also apply that to coloring as well because it was masked already. So I could choose like it to be super dark here and then a bit fainter along the edges. And there's a little area I've made over there. And then for the clothes, classic thing, mask on the body and then extract that, and then like bring it down to as little subdivisions as possible. So it ends up being a really basic mesh, and clean the topology. I've done this weird thing where I wanted a seam along here. The topology is a bit messed up, so I'll need to figure out how to do that better next time. But overall, very happy with how that came out for pretty much the first time doing clothing. I'm very happy with these little leather armor as well. Pants, not too psyched about. Those could have been better, but that's that. Same with the trident. I think I need to work on my hard surface modeling a bit more. It just looks a bit messy, so I think I'll need to learn how to clean that up. Pretty happy with the waves. The waves feel very cool to me. Like that, I'm pretty psyched. I'm happy with how they turned out. Yeah, and then was happy also just without the color. Everything still felt nice and readable, which is what I wanted, because it's going to be a print, as you've already seen. We'll go back to big. So getting it print ready was a new hurdle for me. I've like done I think one sculpt to print. I'm just gonna go back in here. You can see my tools. I'm always scared to just like override and delete stuff. I think this is him pretty much print ready. My final catalog is a bit gross, so but learning how to do the print stuff in here was pretty cool. There's this nice thing that'll tell me if I've messed up. I didn't mess up on this one. So this pretty much, if it tells you what its volume is, means that it's all good, doesn't have any little holes and such. So like I know in here was a bit of a hole when I was making it originally, and then also there was, after combining stuff, there was a little cavity inside the hand, as well as I think under some of the clothes, but that'll get a bit too boring for a video, I think. Printing process, pretty straightforward. I was using the lychee slicer, and it works. The only thing I did that was a bit silly that made me have one failed print was I changed the support tip size, the diameter or circumference, or I don't know what the measurement is, but to pretty much like half its default setting, and it was just too thin. So basically had the hilarious little the crime scene where they've just done an outline of the dead person. Had that just on the bottom of the vat. But yeah, so that was the main issue, and then I just put the supports back to the normal size, and it all worked fine, which was pretty good. The other thing that broke was his trident. The trident was just too thin and just came out super wobbly before it was fully cured. So I'm not sure if you'll be able to see. Yeah, he's just got a stick with no tip. There you go. And then on this guy, because I ended up printing 4 of him, he's got a bident at this point, and no stick behind him. so it just ended up snapping behind. But yeah, so there was quite a few things. So my brother got me a mini yonks ago, and that's this guy, and the scale. This was meant to be a 32 mil print, and it's come out small. And then when I was playing with my mate on our D&D sesh, he was small. And so the few things I learned from it was I want a bigger platform for him to be on. So the actual base, I want to have like the kind of standard base for him to be on top of, which I thought this was at the right scale, but I was wrong. And then the other thing is I'll need to do the like heroic look where the weapons and the hands are maybe like bigger than realistic, as well as going into the print software and having some reference to make sure I'm doing it at the right size. But yeah, so this guy is also a were-tiger, so I'm going to make a were-tiger sculpt soon, and we'll print him as a mini as well. And I pretty much want to have a go at making a bunch of minis and potentially selling them as well. Yeah, so that's kind of it for today's vid. If this all went perfectly, then I won't edit this and this will just be it. But if it didn't go perfectly, it'll be slightly edited and it'll probably still be this, whatever you see. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for coming back. If this very small handful of you are watching this again. And then, yeah, like and subscribe. Jump in the comments what you think, any tips or anything that can help with my next print or mini sculpting and such. Or if there's any questions you have, I'll happily answer anything. I just always assume that I don't know as much as other people. So, yeah, thanks for stopping by.